My name is Rebecca Stone. I am 37 years old. The night my father died, my stepmother called me into his bedroom before the ambulance arrived. She closed the door, looked at me, and said, "Everything is already taken care of. You will get nothing." She was smiling when she said it. I looked at her and said, "I know." She wasn't expecting that. Before I tell you what I had already done, make sure to like and subscribe to the channel, and tell me your country in the comments. Now, let's begin. My father, William Stone, was not a perfect man. He was complicated, demanding, occasionally impossible to be around, but he loved me. In his particular, difficult way, he loved me completely. I knew that the way you know things that have never been spoken directly, but have been demonstrated 1,000 times in small ways. The way he showed up, always, no matter what. The way he called every Sunday without fail for 30 years. The way he looked at me, even when we disagreed about everything, like I was something worth looking at. He loved me. And then he met Gloria. Gloria came into my father's life 4 years ago. He was 71, she was 53. She was warm on the surface, attentive, the kind of woman who remembers how you take your coffee and asks about your life with what appears to be genuine interest. I genuinely tried, but there was something underneath Gloria's warmth that I couldn't locate and couldn't name for a long time. Something calculated. Something that was always slightly ahead of the conversation. My father married Gloria 14 months after they met. I was at the wedding, I smiled in the photographs, and I watched Gloria's eyes when she thought nobody was watching. The changes started small. My father's Sunday calls became shorter, then less frequent, then occasional. When I visited, which I did monthly, Gloria was always present. Always warm, always slightly between us in the particular physical way of someone who is managing proximity. My father seemed happy, or he seemed content in the way that people sometimes settle into when they are tired and someone is taking care of them, and the taking care feels like love, even when it isn't. He was 73 by then. His health was declining. Small things, nothing dramatic, but enough to make him dependent in ways he hadn't been before, and Gloria was there, always there, taking care of everything. My cousin David called me 8 months before my father died. David was not a dramatic person. He was an accountant. He dealt in facts. "Rebecca," he said, "I think you need to come home." "What's wrong?" I said. "I don't know exactly," he said. "But your father changed his will 6 months ago." I went very still. "How do you know?" I said. "His lawyer is my client," David said. "I can't tell you what's in it, but I can tell you it was changed 6 months ago, 3 months after Gloria moved her son into the house." "Her son," I said. "He's 28, David said. "He moved in February. Your father told me it was temporary." "Is it temporary?" I said. "He's redecorating his bedroom." I drove home that weekend. My father was thinner than I remembered, moving more carefully, his eyes the same, sharp, present, but his body slower. We sat on the back porch together. Gloria had gone to the store. "Dad," I said. He said. "Are you happy?" I said. He looked at the garden for a moment. "I'm comfortable," he said. That word, comfortable, not happy, comfortable. I looked at my father, this man who had never in his life settled for comfortable, and I understood something I hadn't wanted to understand. "Dad," I said carefully, "your will." He looked at me. "I know you changed it," he said. He was quiet for a long moment. Gloria felt. "What did you feel?" I said. He looked at the garden again. "I don't want conflict," he said. "I'm tired, Rebecca. I don't want the last years of my life to be full of conflict." "So you changed your will," I said. "I made adjustments," he said, "to protect Gloria. She's my wife. She takes care of me." I looked at my father's hands, older than I remembered, thinner. Okay, I said. He looked at me, surprised by the okay. I just want you to be happy, Dad. That's all I've ever wanted. He reached over and put his hand on mine. I know, he said. We sat together until Gloria's car came back up the driveway. I drove home that evening and called my own lawyer. Her name was Patricia Wells, estate law specialist. She had handled my mother's estate 12 years earlier. I told her everything. What do you want to do? She said. I want to understand my options if the will has been changed under circumstances that suggest undue influence. Patricia was quiet for a moment. Tell me about Gloria, she said. I told her everything. The timeline, the speed of the marriage, the son moving in, the changes in my father's communication, the way Gloria was always present, always managing. This is a pattern, a very recognizable pattern. I know, I said. Do you have documentation? She said. I'm going to start. For 8 months, I documented everything. Every visit I noted in detail, what my father said, how he seemed, whether Gloria was present, what was different from before. I recorded phone calls, legally in my state with one-party consent. I spoke to my father's doctor, who was careful but concerned, and to 2 neighbors who had known my father for 30 years and had noticed changes they couldn't quite articulate. I spoke to my father's original lawyer, who had drafted 3 previous wills over 20 years and who had retired 6 months before the new will was made. He was fine, the retired lawyer told me, clear-minded, not someone who would change his will without reason. Did he have reason? I said. A pause. He told me Gloria had asked him to, the lawyer said. He said she felt insecure. He said he wanted to make her feel secure. He told you this? I said. When I called to ask why he was using a different lawyer, the retired lawyer said, yes. I wrote that down. My father died on a Thursday evening in November. I was there. I had been there for 3 days. He had declined quickly at the end, and I had driven up the moment his doctor called me. Gloria was there. Her son Tyler was there, in the house he had been living in for 8 months now, moving through my father's home with the ease of someone who has already decided it belongs to him. My father passed at 7:40 p.m., peacefully, his hand in mine, Gloria on the other side. For that moment, that specific moment, I felt nothing except grief, real and complete, and without any other feeling attached to it. My father was gone. That was the only thing that was true. The ambulance was called. People moved through the house with the particular quiet purpose of people dealing with death practically. Gloria touched my arm. Come with me, she said. I followed her to my father's bedroom. She closed the door, turned around, and smiled. Not the warm, careful smile she had worn for 4 years. Something underneath that. Something she had been keeping underneath that. I want you to know, she said, that everything is already taken care of. I looked at her. William made sure of it, she said. The house, the accounts, everything. She tilted her head slightly. You will get nothing, she said, pleasantly, like she was telling me about the weather. I looked at her for a long moment, and I said, I know. She blinked. Excuse me, she said. I know, I said again. I've known for 8 months. Something shifted in her expression. I know what's in the will. I know when it was changed. I know why it was changed. And I know the circumstances under which it was changed. She was very still. I have 8 months of documentation. Phone recordings, medical records, witness statements, a statement from my father's original lawyer, a statement from his doctor, carefully worded but present. You can't, she started. My lawyer filed a notice of intent to contest 3 weeks ago. Her face had changed completely. You filed 3 weeks ago, I said, before my father passed, which means the estate is already under legal review. She looked at me. Gloria, I said, I spent 4 years watching you. You are very good at what you do. She said nothing. But I am my father's daughter,
And he taught me one thing above everything else. I picked up my bag. I said, "Pay attention and be ready."
I walked out of that bedroom, back into the house where my father had just died. Tyler was in the kitchen. He looked at me with the particular confidence of someone who believes they are about to inherit something. I looked at him. "You should probably call a lawyer," I said pleasantly, and I walked out. The legal process took 18 months. Undue influence cases are not simple, but 8 months of documentation is a significant thing. Witness statements from neighbors, recorded phone calls in which my father clearly expressed uncertainty about decisions he had made, medical records showing cognitive decline that had not been disclosed to the new lawyer who drafted the will, the retired lawyer's statement. Patricia was methodical and relentless. Gloria's lawyer was good, but Gloria had made one mistake. She had moved too fast. The marriage, the son, the will, all within 14 months. Speed in undue influence cases is evidence. The court found in my favor on 3 of 4 contested items: the house, my father's house, the house he had lived in for 30 years, the house my mother had chosen, his primary accounts, his personal property. Gloria retained what she had brought into the marriage and a portion of joint accounts accumulated during the marriage. Tyler moved out within 30 days. I sat in my father's house the evening after the final ruling, in his chair, the one by the window he always sat in. The garden outside looked the same as it always had. I thought about him. Not about the will, not about Gloria, not about the 18 months, about him. The Sunday calls, the showing up, the particular, difficult, loving presence of a man who was complicated and impossible and absolutely mine. I missed him, in a way that had nothing to do with any of the rest of it. Just, I missed my father. David called that evening. "How are you?" he said. "Sitting in his chair," I said. "Good," he said. We sat on the phone together for a few minutes without saying much. Then he said, "He would be proud of you." "I know," I said. "He told me," David said, 3 months before he passed. He said, "Rebecca is handling this better than I deserve." I looked out at the garden. "I knew," I said. "He knew," David said. I think about what my father said on that back porch. I don't want the last years of my life to be full of conflict. I understood that. I didn't fight for the last years of his life. I let him be comfortable. I let him have peace. And I prepared, quietly, for after. Because that's what love looks like sometimes. Not the loud version, the quiet version. The one that shows up with documentation. If this story gave you strength today, like and subscribe. New story every week. Comment your country below. Share with someone who needs to hear this.